All right. We got everybody here today? Get the regulars anyway. Okay. Okay, I do think the staff did an incredible job having the team ready to play. I thought we had good plans. We started really fast in the game. That was a point of emphasis. Very thankful for our crowd and the way that they impacted the game. I thought we were effective on the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. Obviously, the turnover differential with the block punt. I do think the explosives were about a scratch there, but in general, we won the third down battle, and certainly the ability to rush the ball effectively and protect our quarterback, limit their run game, affect their quarterback. So really good situational football in the end there. We had some opportunities to make plays. I'd like us to finish a little bit better. But overall, the mindset required to win a game like that, respect the players and the leadership that we had amongst the players. So they definitely showed some intangibles there, and you can't help but respect it, right? So I'm very proud of our team. And you don't have much time to think about it or enjoy it because you got to turn around and play an outstanding Texas A&M team. So going on the road in this league, obviously, in my opinion, one of the most impressive, more fun places to play in the country. Always been there a number of times. Clemson, Alabama, obviously here at Florida. So great fan base, great tradition. This is with the resources that they have, this is an incredibly talented team. I mean, big, long, fast. They're a tough group, physical group. And Coach Elko's done a really good job there. I mean, his pedigree and track record as a defensive coach, and then the brand of football they play on offense and the weapons that they have. So, and they're always a tough prep in the kicking game. 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 Central kick. Kyle Field is going to be a heck of a football game. So we respect the opponent, certainly. Off to a great start, top 5 team in the country, undefeated, and some vets, the quarterback, obviously, his background and his ability to make unannounced plays, defensive players at every level, weapons at returner, you name it, this team's got it. So it's going to be a great challenge. We're going to need to be at our best. And it's what you would expect in this league at this point in time. So what questions we got?
Billy, how do you avoid the kind of letdown that you have after a big win and keep the same mindset going in the second straight week?
Yeah, I'm hopeful that we won't have that issue. In my opinion, I think this has got a chance to be a multiplier. I'm hopeful that it will. I talked a little bit about that in the locker room after the game. Obviously, yesterday with the assistant coaches that had a chance to be around players, and then we'll start working on that today. But in general, we handled adversity well. Now we've got to handle some success. So it's all about earning the right to win throughout the week. I think you got to prepare a certain way, and then ultimately get in position to where you can play with some confidence and go execute. So I think that we got a group that understands that, and I'm hopeful that this will be a multiplier and maybe not a distraction.
Third straight top 5 or third top 5 opponent in 4 games, 4 straight top 10. I mean, that obviously can help keep guys focused, but just in terms of just that challenge mentally, I mean, every time you're waking up, it's like you got another mountain to climb.
Yeah, I mean, we've played. Look, this is who we've played in the past. We're very familiar with these teams. The players know each other. The coaches obviously know each other and respect each other. So these are teams we played just 1 year ago, and we're very familiar with the scheme, the personnel, the venue, right? We know what it's going to be like So we're capable. I mean, I think that's the big thing is you wake up knowing that you've got the tools to do it. It's just going to be about who plays the best that day, and that's reality in college football right now is you got to be ready to go each week. So independent of the opponent, this is a heck of a challenge in particular. But yeah, I mean, I think what you're describing is it's what we do.
You talked about finishing better. What was your assessment of 4-minute offense, and does a game like this impress the importance of keeping helmets on, equipment, and so forth in this situation?
Yeah, no, I think we had an opportunity there to put the game away. We weren't able to, and I think a penalty obviously was a big piece of the puzzle. And I do think that we had a chance. There's the possessions prior to those, in my opinion, we had a chance to really put the game away. So those are chances for the players to learn. We have to evaluate things we can do as a staff to help them. And in general, it's good to hang on and win one, but we had chances to put it away earlier in the game.
Would you like to see any tweaks to that rule? Would you like to see any tweaks to the rule, the helmet rule with the clock stoppage?
Yeah, it's a tough. It is. It's a tough rule. I think they're trying to prevent the team from creating an advantage. I think that situation in particular is the outlier, right, where it becomes a disadvantage for the team. So I think there's some things to be evaluated there. And it's a relatively new rule, right? So I think that's probably the first time. And we're talking the difference between, I think, 59 seconds and 19 seconds, right, when they get the ball back. So it was a significant penalty, and we knew it as soon as it happened it was going to be a problem. So, it was unfortunate. It's no different than running out of bounds or having an offensive penalty. It's in the same category relative to the clock.
Your offensive line did a really good job protecting DJ on Saturday. What challenge does this Texas A&M defensive line pose to you? I think they're top 10 in sacks and tackles for loss heading into this game.
Yeah, no, I think, look, these two interior DLs are exceptional, and we're very familiar with the edge players as well. That's the challenge. It seems to be a challenge every week in this league, right? So the key is we play on time. We're assignment sound. We play with fundamentals and techniques, and we get the ball out on time. I think that's the key. So we got to get them open. We got to throw it on time, and we got to protect inside out and keep the quarterback clean, right? So protect and effect. It's the same every week. Which team does it better is typically a good indicator who wins the game.
How is DJ doing? You'd mentioned Saturday that he was dealing with a little bit of a lower body injury. It looked like he had a visible limp during the game. How is he doing today?
Yeah, he finished the game. He's doing fine. Just some, things that we'll work our way through this week. But in general, nothing that's going to prevent him from practicing.
Homecoming games can go one or two ways, and he's going back to his home state and so forth. How do you anticipate that, and do you talk to him about the emotions of that and ticket request, things of that nature?
Yeah, I think it can be a positive. I think anything that's a motivator. I do think that that happens to players on a consistent basis. This is just another one of those situations. So it'll be a non-factor in the game. It's all going to be about how he prepares and how he executes when presented with the opportunity. So maybe it'll give him a little edge this week. I think certainly for me it would. Anytime we play some of these teams where I'm from, it's definitely part of the puzzle. So I think it could be a positive.
Really, how much the other day was adjustments from during the bye week to just pure execution and just kind of energy?
Yeah, I think mindset was good. I thought I was impressed with our ability to get the energy level back to where it needed to be. I think sometimes when you go through challenges, it's tough to bring the enthusiasm required to do the level of work that we do, right? So players and staff. But I think we did that. you know, and I respect the players for that. And then the staff did a good job pushing the right buttons, you know, and then I think the players did a good job bringing input to the table, you know, and I think it's important to collaborate when you're struggling a little bit. So we played better. It's that simple, you know. I think we executed better. We blocked them better. We threw it better. We got open better. We called it better. I think all parts of it contributed to our success. So we got a good player was available for the game. That helped too. So in general, all things contributed to it. I think we need more of it.
In terms of Dallas, just how special a talent is he?
Yeah, he's really unique. Size, play strength, catch radius. And then I would say just his presence as a person. I think he's got incredible energy. You look forward to being around him. And he brings a competitive spirit to the practice field. It's very evident he's out there, you know. He's got good juice, and I think that rubs off on the other players.
You talked about Brunell a lot. Sorry. That tandem, I mean, this two really young guys already impact him like that. I mean, you go through the history of Florida, a lot of great receivers. I don't know that this early they were impacting quite like this.
Yeah, two young, mature competitors, right? Been playing football for a long time. You know, two of the best players in the country, both highly regarded, and you got to keep them at home, and that's what you get when you do that, right? So and look, they came to play with DJ. I think that was part of it as well. So getting a chance to do that, and it's a lot of fun to be a part of.
That offensive performance, what can it do for your offense confidence-wise, and did you feel like they needed that maybe?
Yeah, no, I think they knew. Look, when you go through some of the things that we've been through, you got to know who you are, you got to know what you stand for, and you got to remind yourself what you're capable of. You know, and I think that this group, outside of the two rookie receivers, J. Mike would be the other new player. The rest of these guys were here last year, right? So I think that's the one thing that I would say allowed them to stay the course was they were here in the back half, back 2/3 of the season last year when it looked the way it should look, right? So I think that two has, you know, gotten better each step of the way. You know, he finally started to look like himself again. So, and look, I would tell you, just watching the tape, in general, there's more ceiling here in all three parts of the team. I think we could play cleaner. I think that there's areas where we still we could have had even more control of the game in some regards. So I think that's pretty exciting to show the players, like, look, that was a lot of fun, but hey, there's more out there to accomplish.
Even with as well as the defense has done this year, did you feel as though the pass rush may have unlocked something on Saturday, just to produce the amount of pressure they did, taking on what seemed like more blitzes than usual? Did you feel like there was
Yeah,
some
no, we pressured more. You know, we felt like going into the game that was the plan. Just in general, the overall strategy there, I think, worked. I think we might have to play those guys again, so we can't talk too much about it here. But in general, I would say Coach Roberts and the defensive staff dialed up a great plan. He called it well, and I think that it caused issues for him. You know, I think we covered them. The distribution and coverage was good, and that made him hold the ball, and then we landed. You know, the rushers won their matchups, and the blitzers won their matchups. You know, so I think it was a really good strategy on their part. Obviously, he broke contain and got out of the pocket. Majority of their rushing yards came from him. So, and that's a good-looking group, man. I mean, in pregame, you guys saw them too. I mean, that's a good-looking football team right there. So they got weapons all around. For them to contain that group, I thought was impressive.
Second straight year, the depth in your running back room gets tested. And, you know, Duke was promising, but then he goes out. I mean, how is he for this week, and does this open up for Katie Daniels or other guys, or how do you view where you guys
Yeah,
are there?
it's history's the best indicator of the future, right? So the running back position in the SEC, you can just bank on needing your third or fourth. Hopefully you don't get to the fifth, but it's next man up. Jabbar does a great job having them ready. You'll get an injury report on Wednesday, but in general there, it's kind of who's out, who's back. We'll see. It's TBD right now, but whoever's running it for us typically does pretty good, I would say.
Second straight game, you're going to be facing a very mobile quarterback who sees openings and takes off.
Yeah.
What did you see that could have been done better against Texas that you'll need against the Aggies?
Yeah, really our issues were pressure, distribution of the rush lanes when we were pressuring. And then obviously he gets loose, he's an athlete, right? So this guy presents the same problems, maybe even a little more dynamic in terms of long speed. The kid at A&M is the unannounced play. It's the off-schedule play. And there's a lot of them, and more designed quarterback run game, so it's a huge part of the puzzle when you start talking about defending the group. These two backs they've got are outstanding. The two receivers are incredible. The tight ends are blue collar, and they're big and long up front. So I think in general here they got good pieces on offense, and it starts with the quarterback.
In terms of DJ's performance the other day, just how efficient was that? I mean, when you reviewed it, and he made that one throw that was kind of crazy into whatever coverage, and then he made the interception. But did he have many ill-advised throws?
The interception, he got hit.
But did he have many ill-advised throws, and was he more pinpoint than?
Yeah, no, he was. I think the one throw to Trey over there on their sideline was probably not the best decision. Outside of that, he was pretty clean. I think he missed J. Mike on their sideline in the red zone there, the field goal possession. But, look, he communicated better. He played within the system. He threw a ton of completions. He played on time, which was impressive to me. And the staff designed a really good plan in terms of getting the first guy open on a consistent basis. And we featured the players we had, So, yeah, he's definitely his best performance of the year. I think his quarterback rating was 180, which is the third best in his career. So we need more of that. And, look, quarterback gets the praise when the other players around him plays really well. And we played better around the kid, and DJ played better. So it's a combination of all of it.
Howard was such a critical player for you guys last year. I don't think he played on Saturday. How is he handling just his current role? And he's someone who could be a candidate for elevated playing time the rest of the way.
Yeah, Pup has had the injury bug. I think he has had a challenging offseason. Not much different than DJ's, to be quite honest. And then he's in a very competitive room there. So he's played in 3 games this year. So I think in general it's kind of week to week in terms of his role in the team. And then, he's not quite playing to the level that he's capable of because of the injuries that he's had in the offseason. So anytime a player is not getting to play, I think they're searching. So in general we're trying to get him healthy, trying to get him to play at his highest level.
How do you deal with their offensive line, which is really, really physical and so big?
Yeah, I agree. It's one of the challenges of the week. Height, length, power, and then a commitment to the run game. I think a patience there to continue to use it. So that's a huge piece of the puzzle here relative to you got to contain the 2 backs with a big OL and 2 big tight ends, and then you got these burners on the outside that can cause problems for you. So this is going to be a point of attack matchup type game. most games in our league are like this, but this one in particular, I think, has got a chance to be really important.
Taylor Spirito, SEC Special Teams Player of the Week. How rewarding is it for you to see a guy like that in his journey have an impact play like that on Saturday and get the attention that he's getting?
Yeah, Taylor was a walk-on upon arrival, right? He was a walk-on player. Has earned his scholarship since he's been here. That was his 30th start as a special teams player in his 5th year as a senior. He's in graduate school. You know, he's getting ready to be a double Gator. Cares about the place. He's a leader on our team. He's got a voice, and he makes all the other players around him better on special teams. He's a good communicator. He's in the hip pocket of the special teams coordinator and Coach Houston. Yeah, marquee moment for his career, and really a reflection of the type of program that we'd like to have in terms of, think about that guy. Who's to say 5 years from now there'll be a guy like that? You know, there probably won't be, right? So maybe one of the last ones we see that actually, you know, showed up, got a chance to get into school here, paid his way, living his dream. And a great example to a lot of guys on our team that, hey, doesn't matter where you start your career, you go earn opportunities to be on the field, and then when you do get them, you make the most of them. So I think those are glue guys. Those are guys that, you know, we've always had a couple of those guys on our team, and hopefully we continue that.
And on that same page, Brian Taylor Jr. has kind of had a similar journey from JUCO to now, and
Yeah.
underrated guy on the defensive line and stepped up with injuries. Just what do you think
Yeah.
of his performance? And
Yeah,
his impact
BT
on the
played
board?
the best game of his career for sure and stepped up in a major way. I mean, a guy that moved from the edge to inside, gained significant mass on that frame. You know, went from being a 260 guy to a 290-plus guy. And he's got length, and he's got ability to rush, you know. So we needed the guy to step up. You know, Joseph was out. His rep count went up, and he made the most of his opportunity. It was great to have Makai back as well. Makai's motor and intelligence and presence was felt as well.
We'd be interested to see how Cormani responds. I mean, like he had that nice pass breakup, I think, at the very end, but otherwise, you know, pretty little bit of struggle
Yeah.
during the day.
Yeah, the field corner gets isolated in the coverages we play. You know, we're typically double in the single to the boundary in the slot. You know, so that guy to the wide side, and Sark's a good coach, and he knows where the one-on-ones are. All those progression reads end up where the one-on-one is, and he's typically in that spot. So, look, those are good players. You know, I thought he was highly competitive in the game, and the ball went his way. So, you play corner in this league, you're going to make a few, and you're going to give up a few. The key is that you continue to compete, and I thought he did that.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. Thank you all.